Hey everybody, welcome back. I thought it might be time for an update on where we're at with things around here. I haven't done any social media posts in about a week, a couple shorts here and there, but it's been very busy. Had some travel and everything else. So, kind of exciting news though. We're open, as I've alluded to in some other videos. I've had several instances today where I've had like two customers waiting. So, I am desperately trying to get a second bay online, and I'm actually gonna alter my plan and bring one of the tall bays online next. The one closest to the building is a disaster. It's my parking spot right now. It's gonna take some time. The one next to it, I'm gonna be bringing on. I'll take a little trip out there so we can take a look at it. Yeah. So I got a lot to cover here. So stay tuned. All right. So, hello, Filbert. So, this is the bay I'm bringing online next. It's actually not that bad. I'm flipping things around here. The foam boom used to be on this side. And I am actually going to do the foam boom on this side, along with the high pressure. As I'm sitting here looking at this, I'm questioning my logic. No, I think I'm still going to do it on this side. Partly because I've already got those hoses cut, and I am not pulling more hoses if I don't have to. I already have to pull them for that base still. So, yeah. Okay, we're doing it live here. I've got to fix the ceiling. Not a big deal. I have the panels in there. It's just vinyl siding, vinyl soffit. So right now what I'm working on is the bay door for this bay. I'll show that here in a second. Bay 3, the ceiling needs a lot of work. It's not a big deal. Again, I have all the panels. I've got it open right now because it's been great attic access as I've needed to pull cables. However, as it's getting a little cooler out here, I am probably going to put those up in the next couple days. Bay 2. And then we come to Bay 1, the operational bay. We have our foam brush. We have high pressure, which I didn't put back in there appropriately. I was in here cleaning a few minutes ago. We have our foaming pre-soak with my little laminated signs I've made that are 3M double-sided taped to the walls right now. I've got a couple. I have signs that are going to be here on the 31st. We have our foam brush for wheel and tire, which wasn't operational until earlier. The AirLogic panel that runs it has a bad flow jet pump, and it was just dry cycling for some reason. And I got pissed at it earlier and sent there's 100 psi max, and I'm like, well, I've got one on the way anyway. Let's just see what happens. And I sent 125 psi through it, and I heard something pop really hard in it, and now it's working. So I'm gonna have a spare foam brush, like I said, and then the boom. So I've got a situation that I actually have too long of a hose for this boom. These booms seem like they're really large for these bays, but they're what was in here. So I rebuilt the boom. I'll do a little zoom in here. So the boom swivel is leaking. I've got to get another one. I've got those on order. My hardware for the boom. These are very weird because there's a spring. I'm trying to... Wow. All right, let's do this. There's a spring that sits behind that nut that's supposed to suspend the boom, and I can't figure out the logic behind how they've got it set up, because there's also a wheel right there which carries the weight of the boom. And I actually just sourced those. Those wheels were crumbling and falling apart, and I was able to source those from Home Depot. So this is what a completed cash box is going to look like for right now. Fairly simple. I have the Nayax reader set up with 5, 10, 15, 20. These are touchscreen. They will...
Please present your card or your mobile phone. Transaction canceled.
They talk. all that good stuff. I didn't know the Dixmoor timers also talk, so it's funny when these things first get power, it's like they're having a conversation. This thing's playing music. This is like, thank you for giving me life or whatever. I have a rewards program set up with the Niax reader. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I at least have all of my everything on here, and just my basic, my insert quarters, because I've got to figure out. These are just Dymo labels. They're Dymo durables, so they're plastic labels. And then one of the QR codes for, if you got a problem, scan this. It goes to a form that I've created. Our nice little clean right 10 position switch. I do have air dry and pre-soak over, or not pre-soak, excuse me, spot free covered up right now because I don't have those options. And then I do have another dimple here, which I need to, that's actually set. That's the desalt. I just don't have it plumbed yet. I've got a couple weeks. So, that's where we're at right now. And Tahoe that's back there, Yukon, the lady comes in every night and she cleans it with Clorox wipes. She's here like 45 minutes. I've given her some stuff before. Some Clorox wipes, not Clorox, some Armor All wipes and things like that I have in hand. And she shoots them. Oh, there's our vending machine, which is got some issues, but that's okay. Working through it. All of this is a process. I don't know what that is, but were you living at some point? Okay, well, you know what? We're just gonna leave that alone. Okay, so what we've got going on here. We have our pre-soak. We have our wheel and tire that was having issues. Now, this hose should, as you see these hoses have the mix in them. You'll notice this hose is empty. The reason is there's a bad foot valve down there. What a foot valve is a small check valve. I've got one right here for this thing, this blue thing. Basically, it's a little ball in there, and it keeps fluid from draining back down. It's a bad one. They're cheap to buy. They're cheap. They fail all the time anyway. There's a little fix that you can do. So I was having an issue where this flow jet pump, this is the thing that's was broken, that I then tried to blow up. Whatever. And I was having an issue where it was clicking all the time, and I'm like, oh God, I've got a leak in the ceiling, something going on. No, I don't have a leak in the ceiling. I kept losing fluid out of my tank. Well, the problem is the fluid was backfeeding down through this line and overflowed this barrel. And as you can see by my floor, I have to clean again. I mean, it was neon green and looked like something just got melted in here. It was awful. Any rate, these three guys are the high pressure tanks. We have, and I gotta label these tonight. That is the high pressure soap. That is the high pressure wax. And that will be the desalt. These just go on a simple drain. I am not a plumber, so don't mind that they're not exactly correct. Learning, again. It's a mess in here. So, these are solenoid blocks that they go to with the little blue hoses coming on. So what happens is when you're in the bay and you turn on, let's say, high pressure soap. Well, first thing that happens is on this box on the wall, I'm going to zoom in here. Now what you see in this box, lower right hand corner, that's a contactor. That is a transformer, and that's just a terminal block with a bunch of extra wires that I'm not using right now. The wires coming in from the tube right there that you see open air, that's just low voltage coming from the bay. And then what you see going out and over here are wires going down to the different solenoids and such. So what happens is you put your money in, you turn the knob on. First thing that happens is the contactor clicks and pulls in, and it creates a circuit, which, because I have three-phase electric here, which is 208 volt, it's a higher grade commercial. It lets you can more efficiently carry a higher load, in short. And that comes down here, and that clicks on the motor back there. Yes, I know I don't have the junction box covered right now. This is prototype, and I don't have the damn cover, and try and find one for one of these motors. If you can find one for a Lincoln Electric motor, I need 5 of them, let me know. So, it's plumb to this cat pump. This is a Cat 310. Got a little bit of an oil leak. Well, it was kind of, I overfilled it. All right, I'm not going to blame the pump. But what we have here, I need to get an extra belt, looks like. A little bit of belt wear coming on. But what we have here is solenoid blocks. These blue hoses, they come to this junction that's here. 3 things coming in. It's a mixing junction I created. And then it comes into this side here. This is where your soap gets drawn through the pump. So, you've got water coming out up there to this tank. There's a float valve in there. It's like your toilet. And that is currently running out. Now I have a whole manifold I'm building over there, that white thing you see. But for right now, because I need to get one bay online, I created this thing. We'll just, yeah. Again, I'm not a plumber, which runs over to the pump. So we have our cold, fresh water coming in. Comes in here, gets mixed with whatever soap, or if you don't have a soap turned on, if you're just doing high pressure rinse, none of those solenoids over there are open, and it's just going to pull water, pressurizes it, sends it out through the black hose, out to the gun in the bay. We've all seen it, like the pressure washer thing. Don't know why that hose is just lying there. Anyway, that blue hose that you see coming off the pack is just a waste hose. A little bit of water weeps out when it's running. It helps prevent any airlocks or anything in there. That valve is a pile of crap and won't close all the way. So I just said, well, it's a couple of ounces of water when it runs. I'm just going to plumb it to the drain for now. As you see, I got the other bays to get online here. So there's the solenoid blocks I talked about. So the high pressure soap or whatever comes down to that. It opens up, runs through the blue hose, and gets sucked in here and sent out to the bay. So, basic anatomy of the high pressure side of a car wash. Low pressure is even easier. I think I've gone over these before, but just a quick little air in. Air goes up to the air dryer there, that little filter looking thing. Some of it goes to the pump. Some of it goes up to what is the blue tube in my case. You'll see that we've got fluid coming out of the other that's being pumped out. Those go up and over, and as you see, it loops down into, it's kind of hard to see. You got a blue and you got a clear. They go into this thing right here, which is just a creation I made because I didn't have the right fittings, but actually I think it's helping with some of my foam generation. But basically it combines right there and then goes out the yellow hose, up the ceiling, out to the bay. I've got one of those for each thing. So 3 hoses for each bay for low pressure, 1 hose for high pressure. Again, our mixing tanks right here. So what I'm doing right now tonight, oh, this, by the way, is that manifold I was talking about that I'm building. It's just a bunch of PVC. Everything I'm doing is PVC because this room will be kept warm. Plus, I have a nice little space heater. It's actually really getting it over here. So, what do we have? The back of a bay door. I finally, okay. I will get video of this, probably for a short, because it's actually really cool. If you ever have to remove adhesive on something and you don't mind if you mar the finish because you're going to polish it or whatever, the greatest thing ever I have discovered are these flexible adhesive scraping blades for a multi-tool made by Diablo. It literally melts it off like butter. It's the greatest thing ever. All right, this is a blank bay door. It's completely empty. I took everything off of it. The only thing in here right now is an IDX coin exchanger. This is the thing that takes your coin and makes sure you're not putting a slug in or whatever. This is actually a used one that I bought off eBay because these things are hideously expensive new. They're completely fine if they're clean used. And I'm trying to save costs where I can. So we'll hope that it works, because it's no returns, which, well, we can see about that. At any rate, I'm going to flip this over here. It's a little hard to do one-handed. As you see, the door is just plain. I buffed off everything. There are a few little scratches and gouges and things like that. We're going to call them character marks. They are 25 years old at this point, or 24 years old at this point, before I attack them with power tools. I don't know what that is. Anyway, what we're doing next is, I had this one out for testing. So this is Dixmoor LED 7 timer. I I need to make sure I mount the damn thing the proper way because I mounted the first one upside down and got all excited. I'm like, why is the text upside down? Let's see here. Go over to my box of goodies. And then it's all timers. Where the hell are the... hi, duh. Clean-Rite. 10 position switch. 2-stack. That means it has 2 sets of terminals. One on... let's pull this out of there. Kind of hard to see in there. Hold on. Okay, 2 sets of terminals. Now, one of these is for powering the motor and for the pump, and one of them just fires off your whatever you selected. So some of these have nothing on them because they're blank because they're ready for a selection. Some of these have these jumpers, these brown. When you see the ones with the brown on them, the brown are actually the ones that are going to turn on the high pressure pump. They send that signal to the contactor, that switch I told you about earlier that makes it pull in and turn that on. So this is the Clean-Rite 10 position quick connect switch, which comes with the wiring harness for the other side. It's supposed to be easy. I'm going to get better at this. It's been a very long time since I've done civil wiring. I won't say the first one flummoxed me, but it was like, how the hell is this easier? This is not easier. And most of these wires, I don't actually end up using because of my setup here. But, you know, so we've got these 2 things. The final thing we have to put on, which is kind of the eye candy of the bunch, is, let's get out, first thing first, one of these clear covers. They're optional for the NIAX readers, and everybody says if you don't have them and somebody sprays it with water, it will cancel their transaction. So I'm trying to keep people happy. We have a NIAX VPOS reader. And we have, hopefully somewhere in here. So this is what they call an MDB cable. This is what vending machines use for those readers. I do not use these. Came with them, though, which is fine, because I'm going to end up having an MDB-based vending machine eventually. Somewhere in here is a pulse cable. That's a pulse cable. That's what I need. So, what you were looking at is the anatomy of a bay box. I'm going to start wiring this thing up right now. God help me. Have a good night.